Hey everyone, All here, and today I bring you footage pulled directly from my live stream on Twitch. This is the Battlefield Briefing Development Update May of 2022, where they are discussing the big changes coming to the game. Make sure you follow me on Twitch, like the video, and hit subscribe while you're here. I'm out. Brief intro. I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.
Over the past few months, we've been focusing on what's next for Battlefield 2042. We've been taking this time to listen to you, our players, so we can focus on improving and evolving the game based on what we've heard. Our updates in this time have seen the arrival of features that weren't present at launch, as well as extensive improvements and fixes. We hope this shows you just how invested we are in this game. So, while we won't be revealing Season 1 today, that's for next month, we will be giving you an overview of what we're focusing on and what you should expect over the next few months and beyond for Battlefield 2042.
I'm excited to see...
Hey folks, I'm Freeman, Battlefield's Community Manager. I'm joined by senior producer Ryan MacArthur and creative director Lars Gustafsson.
Let's start by talking about the main focus areas that we've identified and the types of things we're looking to improve.
Yeah, I mean, we spent a lot of time taking feedback from the players, looking at the data we have in the game, and just looking at the game we intended to build. So we've got our maps. You know, how do we bring back those classic Battlefield experiences that allow players to sort of play the classic?
I don't know Targaryen.
That's with all the new maps we create, but also how do we address the challenges that we have with the existing maps that we've launched the game with?
Yeah, you need to fix the maps you've got.
How do we add variety? How do we add depth? How do we add differentiation across all of the modes in the game? The core gameplay, sort of that really tight through the gun experience. So obviously, there's been a lot of feedback around specialists, gunplay.
Yeah, get rid of specialists,
soldier movement,
please.
all of these things that sort of really make that tight Battlefield experience that
they
our players
won't.
love. And obviously new content. When's new content coming? What type of content can players can expect? How does that new content need to change and adapt to the learnings we've got from our players and the feedback we've got from our players?
Yeah.
Ryan, let's start with this first section of maps. What are the changes that players can expect to see? And really, when are we expecting to actually bring them to the game?
You're going to see the first of these changes with the launch of Season 1. So the Season 1 map, it's probably my most favorite. And Lars will tell me it's because I'm Canadian, but I think for me, I mean, this map is different from the other 7 that we created at launch. It's got a ton of verticality. It's got good space for vehicle play, but it's also got those things that make a Battlefield map great. When you look at how this map plays, it's at the level we expect from ourselves as
they're not going to show it.
You know, on every map we make forward, moving forward with beyond Season 1, we start to apply these new standards we've set. But also the team has done a real deep dive into the maps we created for launch. Kaleidoscope is the first one we're going to see. So late in Season 1, you're going to see a reintroduction of Kaleidoscope that sort of has, you know, the things that we see our players really craving at the moment.
Let's take a look at that.
Reintroduction of an existing map.
On Kaleidoscope, we've revised areas across the entire level,
I see.
More cover, creating new flag positions, and improving the flow across the whole map.
I see what they're doing.
Cover and terrain has been raised, and new forward operating bases have been added to increase close quarters combat.
Is that really the game? I've played a lot of Battlefield 2042. Hold on.
The whole map.
This is pretty nasty. This is like Oblivion. What? Okay, whatever. It looks better.
Bases have been added to increase close quarters combat. Not only that, but we've made sure more of the new assets that we've used on this map benefit from increased destruction, helping to change the battlefield more drastically throughout the rounds.
More destruction.
Let me show you around the changes we've made. In the park, we've installed a forward operating base. Heavily fortified, this is great to defend and a challenge to attack. At the data center, we've increased the number of defense points, ensuring that when you're fighting here,
this area always felt empty.
Each entrance is now better protected, and we've helped to improve line of sight breaks throughout the area.
It looks nice.
You'll find the second command and control base. In Breakthrough, this is a crucial flag with a much clearer front line.
I mean, as long as it's balanced.
For attackers to use in their advance.
Yeah.
Over at the park, we've ripped out the walkways and created more cover. You'll find that the infantry experience has improved here, adding a giant tree and making the gazebo smaller to create a stronger defensive layout.
And now, while a little earlier in the process, let's take a look at Renewal and how it is that'll play when it arrives in Season 2.
Like with Kaleidoscope, the whole map has been reviewed with the intent.
Season 2? They're redoing one map per season? I hope not. I was thinking they were going to redo all of them. They just did one. And does that count? Okay.
Intent set on improving the infantry and CQC experience. Flags are much closer, with out-of-the-way sectors cut entirely from the battlefield to improve the flow of combat. There's all new assets deployed across the map with improved destruction and much more of a Battlefield feeling than we had at launch. Over at the solar station, we've revised the area to include much more cover. Huge
Why does
concrete
this take
barriers,
so long?
sandbag walls and shipping containers, saving the warehouses as the best place to
It
take
looks
shelter from
great.
aerial assault.
Why do I have to
Out in
wait?
the desert, we've reworked the terrain to help create clear paths for infantry and
I sound like an
vehicles.
asshole,
There's improved
but
line
I
of sight
feel
blockers.
I'm sorry. I sound like an asshole, but I feel like it's true. How long does it take to add some new terrain to a map? Okay, I'm not being, facetious or trying to be a dick. Like, really, how long does that take? Because there's how many maps in the game? 5 or something? 5 or 6? You're redoing them. So obviously you can see that they need to be fixed, and you're going to do one per season. And I heard one season is going to be 1 year. How long do they want us to be playing this game? And you really... one per... Okay. Alright, sorry. I will try to pause less often, but I also don't want to talk over them.
That let you move with more purpose between the flags and help to better direct the action into clearer front lines.
But I gotta
battery farm
wait
has been
a
simplified,
year for
reducing
this.
the number of possible angles of attack and increasing cover where it's needed most. Up ahead at the checkpoint, we fortified the farm side, allowing attackers to move more strategically.
Also, I'm gonna pause it again. Do we have to pay for this? Like, if you don't pay for the pass, the season pass, are you not going to get this map, Kaleidoscope, or whatever the fuck, revamped 2.0? You're going to be playing 1.0 like a fucking pleb? Is that what they're saying? Oh, hold on. Let's just wait before we judge.
Strategically in their advance, with
sorry.
vehicles providing your best method of attack. Just watch out for the traps defenders will place in wait. At the Sonesco building, expect a lot more fortification and cover that will need an overwhelming display of force to assault. The interiors have been reworked with new storage areas that give plenty of cover for defenders and improve the close quarters combat.
Of course
action
not,
once you get
Scarecrow.
inside. Corridors are full of more line of sight blockers, making them viable defense points, including new lines of sandbags across the windows. We're hard at work on more improvements to renewal, and we'll have
'Cause
more
it's
to
not
show
easy
about
enough
the
to
changes
camp
we're
up
making
there.
here when these updates land in Season 2.
Season
Let's
2.
talk about our next big focus, which is game modes and experience. What are the types of changes we're looking to bring here?
It's 2 key things. One of them is about, variety and depth of what you play. And the other part is more around the available options to give you a better understanding of what you're getting yourself into. And in order to get this, experience the best possible, we've decided to kind of unshackle ourselves from the 128 players mantra that we had for this game. 128 players will
I think it's funny how they have the boxes of the better games in the background.
still be there. And it's great for some modes, but not everywhere. So we will redirect our focus, build for fun, for freedom, for creativity at all points.
That being the case, then, talk to me some more about the types of changes that we're going to be bringing specifically. Let's start with All-Out Warfare, and let's talk about Conquest. What improvements are we looking to bring here to the game mode?
So for All-Out Warfare and Conquest, 128 players is definitely a thing. Worth saying is that for the coming maps, we will scale them down compared to the launch maps to give much more focus in the experience. This might mean that, there will be fewer sectors, we have maybe fewer capture points. But ultimately, we want to ensure that your Conquest experience have kind of intense combat areas. And above all, for me, is those times when you feel that you're getting shot at from all directions by the enemy.
So the 128 player thing to me feels like a non-issue. Or it's an issue, but not for the reasons that they're giving me the impression they are. Words? So, like, I think 128 player servers are a problem because the player base is tiny, and when you do have enough players to fill it, the connection's bad. So, okay, how do you fix that? Their solution is make the map smaller. I mean, that will change things, yeah, but will it fix that problem? And I don't think they're on the same wavelength here.
Enemy to help you get in control, and we can do this through design.
Okay, so if that's going to be Conquest, what about Breakthrough? What changes are we making here?
I love Breakthrough, I've always done, and it's that immersive frontline experience. And in the light of the 128-player discussion here, in order to retain, the promise that it comes with of outsmarting your opponents, we have taken an active decision now to move permanently to 64 players to gain a better gameplay experience. Let's focus on fun.
So that was a quick little thing. Okay, did you miss it?
An active decision now to move permanently to 64 players.
So in this game mode, no more 128, only 64. That's what he just said.
To gain a better gameplay experience. Let's focus on fun. Let's focus on capturing what it's all about and enabling our players on the battlefield. We can take all of the knowledge we have in this house when it comes to Battlefield 1, Battlefield 5 in building breakthrough in great ways for 64 players.
Let's talk a little bit about Hazard Zone. What's our future here?
I'm the first to acknowledge, high hopes. We set out on a path, but we haven't gained the traction we wanted with this mode. You can still find it in the modes.
So I still am gonna make a short video about this. Targaryen and I tried to play Hazard Zone the other day. It'll be a short video.
Selection screen. But for the maps that are coming in the seasons, we won't put it as a focus. When we look at where our players are today, it means that we can pour our love and resources into the all-out warfare experience, where we can focus on additional tools for even more fun.
So we've covered our plans for maps, we've covered our plans for game modes and experiences. Next, we want to talk about core gameplay. And there's a lot to unpack here, so do stick with us. Obviously, there's a big change on a big area that we want to address today, and that's specialists.
Yeah, and I mean, I think, we've talked about this a lot. I think, this isn't the easiest topic, but I think that the key for us is that we've heard you. And I think, when we look at this, the feedback we're getting, I mean, these have both been polarizing, but they've also been confusing.
Have you heard
that
me?
Sort of disconnect between the quips you hear from these specialists. They don't quite fit, and they break the immersion for players, which has always been core to Battlefield. They're too pristine, right? So we need to, they need to be dirty, they need to be gritty. How do we fit that in? So what you're going to see in the specialists is improved VO that kind of really fits them in the world. Body postures to sort of make them sort of fit in that Battlefield character that we're trying to create.
When it comes to bringing these changes and improvements to the gameplay side of our specialists, I mean, this is something the team is still very focused on.
It's a first-person
we're just
shooter,
not
dude.
yet in a space where we can share the final plan. As we shared earlier this year, we set out on the task of finding ways to better mesh these into our core gameplay loops, better communicating how these fit into the class structure of 2042, which was always our intent. The things that are stopping us from moving, doing these changes sooner is to making sure that we can still deliver the key content that our players need and address all the other changes that you need to make. We know that what we have in the game today can be improved. We've taken the expectations that our players have, and
So
they've shared
do
with
it.
us, and we want to make sure that we can deliver on that at the best possible quality. I mean, we're not walking away from specialists; they're a key part of 2042, but we need to make sure we get it right, and we can deliver to our players what they deserve.
Well, one more time. One more time. One more time. That last part.
Expectations that our players have, and they've shared with us, and we want to make sure that we can deliver on that at the best possible quality. I mean, we're not walking away from specialists; they're a key part of 2042, but we need to make sure we get it right, and we can deliver to our players what they deserve.
What do we deserve?
Now, on to gunplay. Naturally, you'll have seen loads of updates and improvements that we've helped to bring to the game over the last few months, but particularly with our most recent update last month. But there's some longer-term plans too. Lars, do you want to talk us through them?
Definitely. You'll see more vehicles, weapons, gadgets. While this is
The funny thing, Targaryen, the thing that you're talking about, how they added dirt to Boris, yeah, cool. Makes sense. We're in a war zone. He should be dirty. Why are you advertising the fact that you fixed the problem and the fix was common sense? The problem was that the issue I have with the Boris dirt, we'll call it, is that it was an issue at all. So why are you advertising that you fixed it? Of course my fucker should be dirty. Very happy that you have fixed something that would be common sense to anyone making a video game about a war. A mill sim. Okay. I agree 100%, Scarecrow, and I'll stop.
happening.
I'll stop
we'll have
pausing it.
continuous focus on the balance of our weapons across the board. While we do have the plus menu, attachment system. I mean, that one definitely helps you to to take each weapon and give unique playstyles within it. We have also started an initiative where we are cherry-picking a number of classic weapons from Portal to be able to rework these to be brought into the all-at-war.
Really? It's like I've been saying all along. There's, what, 26 guns or some shit in 2042? It's laughably bad how few guns there are. And I always assumed the justification for that was because in Portal, you have guns from Battlefield 1942, you have the Bad Company 2 guns, you got the Battlefield 3 gun. So they're counting those and saying, no, look, we have a lot of gun variety in Battlefield 2042. Bullshit, you don't. And you're saying that's new. I love Portal. I think it's a really cool game mode, but don't say that's the reason why you held back on the main game. And he just said it. I'll rewind about 10 seconds.
Have also started an initiative where we are cherry-picking a number of classic weapons from Portal to be able to rework these to be brought into the all-out warfare. So more weapons, up to the standards across the board. Weapons, guns. Do I need to say more?
Guns that are already in the game. They're going to move into the other mode, and they're going to call them new guns.
But everything he does. Next, we're going to speak about movement and the polishing updates that we're helping to bring to the game here. In July, as part of Season 1, we've got some big updates coming to how our traversal kind of works. So let's take a quick look at that.
Our goal is to improve the readability of body motions in third person and making our soldier animations look more alive and believable. A great example of this is disconnecting the aiming from turning. When aiming around, the soldier can now rotate his upper body separately from the lower body until they get to an uncomfortable position, which causes the lower body to reposition in a more natural and comfortable manner. Another example of this includes several improvements to changing directions when either running around or sprinting.
I like that.
Portions of the body can now lean towards the direction of the movement, which makes for nicer looking animations, as well as more natural and predictable movements. We're looking forward to showing more of what we have.
Isn't this another one of those things that should already be in the game?
Playing together and staying easily with squads is, of course, vital to anyone playing Battlefield. And so getting team play where it needs to be, that is something that we're working on. What have we got planned, Ryan?
The team is looking quite heavily at how we can pull those things together. How do I make building a squad easier? How do I make sure I can find my friends and play with, be that on the same platform or cross-platform? You'll start to see the first pass in Season 1 with some of the UI improvements, and those are going to continue as we try and make the UI more understandable, more accessible for both finding modes, finding players, and staying together.
Okay, our next topic then is something we know we need to talk to you guys about, and that's performance. I appreciate we're going to be speaking pretty directly to our PC players here today. But since launch, this has been a pretty big focus for our technology teams. We know performance has been an issue for many of you, our players, with the game dropping below our own expectations and certainly your expectations when it comes to playing the game on
we have a core meltdown
machines.
Every time I play Battlefield.
Ryan, do you want to speak a bit more to this?
Well, I wish this was something that you could just, fix a thing and we're good and we're done. And it's just unfortunately, this is going to be that ongoing battle that we have. But the good thing is this team is committed to it. And the great thing is we see with 0.4, we've started to see some of those big CPU spikes. We made a big dent in those. We're seeing better latency. Trigger responsiveness is getting back to where they expect it to be, and we're seeing an improvement in frame rate. That is true. And we're going to keep pushing and get more of that sorted as we head into Season 1 as well.
The game feels better, no doubt. No doubt.
Okay, finally then, to cover our upcoming content, Lars, where are we at with that?
Next month, with the launch of Season 1, it really is going to mark, the start of a year of delivery. 4 seasons, 4 new specialists, new exotic locations for you to play on, and tons of new gameplay content. All of these seasons will...
So, 4 battle passes? How much is a battle pass?
Then come with their own battle pass for you, that extra push, something to achieve.
This is not
this building
unheard of,
ultimately,
right?
To ensure that you're out there on the battlefield, playing together, having fun, finding new ways to outsmart each other. And in order to do that and keep you going, we are committing to more weekly missions, to new featured experiences, to new
They're asking an awful lot.
More. to keep us all happy and going on the battlefield.
They're asking a lot.
So that's our 4 areas of focus for the future of Battlefield 2042, which I'll help to summarise here before we hear from Ryan one final time. Maps, we're making sure that we're reworking both our existing maps, starting with Kaleidoscope as part of Season 1.
Looks good, do it
to
faster.
help address some of the issues and frustrations
Don't
that I know
charge
we've
me
talked a
for
lot
it.
about over the last few months. Experiences and game modes. We are unshackling ourselves from 128 players. You'll still experience it in Conquest, but do expect to see that with Breakthrough, we're moving down to 64 players so that we can help to really drive the focus into the fun that we have in Battlefield 2042. With core gameplay, there is a lot to unpack here, starting with specialists, but also the
Ridiculous.
improvements that we still have coming to gunplay, to team play, to UI and UX stuff that you
Should
can read
already
about
be in
over
the
on the
game.
Battlefield website. And then finally, new content. It's coming soon. We have
And
our
how
next
much is the
season
Battle
starting
Pass?
next month, and that is going to kickstart a whole new year of us bringing new things onto the battlefield. Now, we'll keep updating you on our areas of focus throughout the year, and you'll hear again from me next month when we come back to talk about the new season with members of the Battlefield team. But before we go, we want to hear from Ryan one last time, because I know you wanted to talk to the players directly.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. I mean, Lars and I are here today, and we're really grateful to be able to represent the entire Battlefield team and reaffirm our commitment to Battlefield 2042. The team has made a ton of updates to this game, but we know it's not enough, and we know we need to keep doing more. So on behalf of the team at Ripple Effect, EA Gothenburg, our new studio in Seattle, DICE, and all of the Battlefielders across EA, we just want you to know that we are here. So thank you for sticking with us. And to steal a line from my good friend Lars here, we'll see you on the battlefield.
It's funny.
For more, head over to the Battlefield website, and we'll see you next time, folks. Bye-bye.
I mean, okay, keep that shit up. $10 for Battle Pass. Is it $10 or all of my dollars for the Battle Pass? Okay, so yeah, the map redesigns look awesome, perfect. They need to do that for all of them. Do not take all 4 seasons or however fucking many to do that. That's absolutely insane. Don't charge me extra for that. Make them included for everyone. Because if you split up the player base between the haves and the have-nots, then you take this player base that's like 400 people on PC and you cut it in half or something. You cut it basically into like a third. It's like a third of people buy the deals. Anyway, whatever. Okay? Advertising adding dirt and blemishes and details to your specialists is cool. It's needed. But it's you're fixing something that you broke. I mean that's great, okay, but I don't think it's worth bragging about. That's all I'm saying. Same thing with the momentum and the physics thing. Running around in circles on the ice, that's great. It looks cool. It looks natural. Probably have already had that, you know. Yeah. And I heard the rumor is we're getting 1 new map per Battle Pass. Also, if they're gonna move guns over from Portal into the main game and call them new guns, I'm gonna throw a hissy fit because that's bullshit. That is bullshit. Those are not new guns. If you're gonna point to them and say, look, there are plenty of guns in the game, and then later on down the line when people are asking for more guns, you give them those guns? I hope that's not it. I hope I misunderstood on that one, because that cannot be right. I'm pretty sure there is no possible way that I have that correctly. I don't know, anything else? I feel like there's nothing those guys could have done. Everyone is already like predisposed to hate it. I play the game a lot and I was already like ready to fight